Today, the world is reacting to a shocking and dangerous message that has come from Iran. Iran's state-run television has aired a broadcast that directly threatens former U.S. President Donald Trump. This is not a rumor. This is not social media speculation. This message was shown on official Iranian television. During the broadcast, Iranian state TV showed an image of Donald Trump taken from the 2024 campaign rally, the moment when he was injured by gunfire. Along with that image, a message appeared on screen saying, "This time, the target will not be missed." That single line has sent shockwaves across the United States and around the world. Because this was not just harsh language. It was not political criticism. It was a direct and public threat shown by a foreign government. To understand why this is so serious, we need to look at the background. The tension between Iran and the United States did not start today. It goes back several years. In January 2020, during Donald Trump's presidency, the U.S. carried out a drone strike that killed Iranian military commander Qasem Soleimani in Iraq. For Iran, Soleimani was a powerful and symbolic figure. His death deeply angered Iran's leadership. Since then, Iranian officials have repeatedly blamed Donald Trump for that killing. Over the years, Iran has made statements promising revenge, even accusing the U.S. of committing an assassination. But until now, those threats stayed mostly indirect. This time is different. This time, the message was clear, and it was broadcast on state television for the whole world to see. In recent months, Iran has also been facing serious problems inside its own country. Large protests have broken out across Iran. People have been demanding economic relief, political change, and more freedoms. Iranian security forces responded with strong crackdowns. The United States publicly criticized Iran's actions. Donald Trump warned that Iran could face serious consequences if violence against protesters continued. That pressure appears to have increased tensions even further. And then came this broadcast. After the message aired, reactions were immediate. U.S. officials expressed deep concern. Security around Donald Trump was reportedly reviewed again. Political leaders warned that threats like this cross a dangerous line. International experts said this kind of message breaks long-standing diplomatic norms. Even hostile countries usually avoid making open assassination threats on public television. Global markets reacted nervously. Middle Eastern allies began watching the situation closely. The United Nations called for restraint and de-escalation. Many analysts are now asking an important question. Was this a real threat? Or was it political propaganda meant to send a message? Some experts believe Iran may be trying to show strength to its own people during a time of internal unrest. Others warn that even symbolic threats can spiral out of control. In international politics, words matter, images matter, and messages like this can easily be misunderstood. So what could happen next? One possibility is diplomatic back-channel talks. Quiet negotiations could reduce tensions and prevent further escalation. Another possibility is increased sanctions on Iran, putting more pressure on its economy. The most dangerous outcome would be military escalation, something neither side officially wants, but history shows can happen quickly if mistakes are made. This situation is not just about Iran and the United States. It affects global security. It affects oil prices. It affects international stability. When a government publicly threatens a former U.S. president, it sends a message far beyond one country. Right now, the world is watching closely. Because what happens next could shape global politics in the months and years ahead. This story is still developing, and its impact could be much bigger than it appears today. As this story continues to unfold, one thing is very clear. This is not just a political statement. This is not normal diplomatic language. This is a message that has pushed tensions to a new and dangerous level. Experts say that when a state-controlled television network sends a message like this, it is rarely accidental. State TV in Iran does not operate independently. What appears on screen usually reflects the thinking of the country's leadership. That is why this broadcast has raised so many alarms. Security experts in the United States say threats like this are always taken seriously, even if they are symbolic. Because history has shown that public threats can inspire lone actors, proxy groups, or indirect attacks. After the broadcast, reports suggested that security agencies reviewed protection measures around Donald Trump. This does not mean an attack is expected immediately, but it does show that officials are not ignoring the message. In global politics, ignoring warnings can be costly. Another important question many people are asking is this: why now? Why did this message appear at this exact moment? Analysts point to Iran's growing internal pressure. The country is dealing with economic stress, rising inflation, and widespread dissatisfaction among its population. When governments feel pressure at home, they often try to shift attention outward. Creating an external enemy can unite people and redirect anger. In this case, the United States and Donald Trump personally remain powerful symbols for Iranian leadership. Donald Trump himself has not made a direct public response to the broadcast so far, but in the past, Trump has taken a very hard stance against Iran. During his presidency, he withdrew the U.S. from the Iran nuclear deal. He imposed harsh economic sanctions, and he approved the strike that killed Qasem Soleimani. Those decisions reshaped U.S.-Iran relations. For Iran, those actions are not forgotten, and many inside the country see Trump as directly responsible for years of hardship. International reaction to the broadcast has been mostly unified. European leaders expressed concern and urged calm. Middle Eastern countries are watching closely, especially those already involved in regional tensions. Israel, in particular, views any escalation between Iran and the United States as a serious security issue. Oil markets also reacted cautiously. Any sign of conflict involving Iran raises fears of supply disruptions. Even the possibility of instability can affect global prices. Some experts believe Iran may not intend to act directly. Instead, they suggest this could be a psychological move, a warning, a message meant to test reactions. But others argue that even psychological threats carry real risks. When strong words are spoken publicly, they cannot be taken back easily. They raise expectations. They increase pressure on both sides to respond. This is where the danger lies. If the United States responds too strongly, tensions could spiral. If it responds too weakly, it could be seen as acceptance. Both sides are now walking a very narrow path. Behind the scenes, diplomats are likely working quietly to prevent things from getting worse. Back-channel communication often plays a critical role in moments like this. History shows that many major conflicts were avoided not by speeches, but by silent negotiations. The United Nations has called for restraint from all sides. Officials emphasize that threats of violence only increase instability. Global leaders understand that another major conflict in the Middle East would have worldwide consequences. From energy prices to international trade, no country would be untouched. For ordinary people watching this news, the situation may feel distant, but the impact is very real. Geopolitical tension affects economies. It affects markets. It affects global security. And when powerful nations exchange threats, the risk is never limited to just two countries. Right now, the most important factor is what happens next. Will Iran issue further statements? Will the United States respond publicly or quietly? Will tensions cool down or continue to rise? At this moment, there are more questions than answers. One thing is certain: the message broadcast on Iranian state television has changed the tone of the conversation. It has crossed a line that few expected to see crossed openly. And because of that, the world is paying close attention. This is not just a headline. This is a warning sign. And the decisions made in the coming days could shape international relations for years to come. This story is still developing. And as always, we will continue to follow it closely. Because in global politics, moments like this matter more than they seem.